first year of officially being a pro, first time going to Korea like with the team. I don't know, like what's it like when you guys are over there? Is it mostly solo queue? Are you scrimming at all? Like how's life in general been being a LCS pro at the age of 17?
Yeah, I mean, the Korea trip was definitely very good. I think for like every single one of us. Um, we were there from the 30th of November until the 20. I was there until the 22nd of December.
Dang.
So that was like 3 weeks ish, and we were like just playing solo queue throughout the entire time. Like no scrims, no nothing. The solo queue, eat, gem, solo queue, eat, gem, solo. Like that's basically all I was doing throughout the entire trip. And then I took like a 1.5 week break, or not even break. I just went back to Toronto after that, and I was just like chilling with my family. I was just making sure I spend like as much time as possible with them, because I obviously like love my family and stuff, you know. So, and then I went to LA, and then like the second day that I got here, we just started like scrimming right away, and we've been scrimming for like 5 days in a row now. So that's like kind of how it's been ever since I got promoted to LCS, you know. So it's just non-stop grinding. But
Well, how's the scrim days like as like in the LCS versus Academy? Because obviously, I mean, well, Challenger, you were in it for what 6 months prior to the rule changing, and then you kind of went content creation. What's the biggest difference between the two so far?
I mean, I was only in academy for 2 months actually,
Oh
because I don't know if you
Jesus.
remember. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I can't necessarily tell you what the differences are right now, just because like I was just there for 2 months, and I wasn't necessarily like myself. I was like kind of going through some stuff, like in a way, I guess, during that period. So, um, I just wasn't as like present as I am right now. But first week of LTS scrims so far have just been like I was honestly like surprised that the competition wasn't like as good as I expected it to be.
Oh
Because
shit.
I thought it would have been higher. I thought I would have like been getting dumpstered on in like the first week of scrims. Although I like always try and play for or like with confidence, I guess. Um, but yeah, I thought that like that was gonna happen to me, you know. But it was like it wasn't really that. It wasn't necessarily
That's good to hear. That builds a little bit of confidence. Now,
that.
everybody talks about like the difference between like obviously scrims and stage. Are you worried about not worried, but like how do you feel about going on stage for the first time in front of a crowd? I think opening day is now sold out, so the entire Riot Games arena is going to be filled. Like, have has that been playing in your mind at all yet?
I mean, I'm trying my best to like just be as present as possible, so I can just like just cherish every moment that I have like while I'm an LCS player. So honestly, that's actually a really good question. That hasn't like really like it came across my mind yet, just because of like I feel like how present I'm I'm like trying to be at least ever since like I got to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm personally not like I'm not too worried about playing on the LCS stage and just like doing bad or doing or like whatever it is. You know, I'm just gonna go into just playing my own game, just having as fun as possible, or having as much fun as possible, and just like playing with confidence. You know, so that's kind of like what's going through my mind. If that
That's
makes
good.
sense.
I mean, that's good though because like to a certain extent, this might be a really weird stat, but you've been basically on the path to pro since you were what, like 13, give or take.
15 years old actually is what it was, but I started like playing at 12. I didn't think about going pro at
Okay,
the time.
because I was gonna say because I know there was like the whole like signing with C9, but then was too young to sign. So like, if you take that point on, 25% of your life has been prepping for this moment, like to make your debut on the LCS stage in a way. So like that, like obviously that will grow as time goes on, and like the more a larger percentage of your life will be around LCS, as hopefully you're here forever. But that's like that's wild to think about. You're kind of like I mean, a few people have talked about it already. You're the first real like prodigy player of the LCS. Like we've had other people that are obviously talented and come in young, but like you have an older brother who's played on that stage. You have a like a family pedigree that simply does not exist elsewhere. What's your thoughts on like being the first of that kind in a way?
Okay, well, okay, that's actually also a pretty good question. Um, yeah, I mean, from like the outside, it may sound like all like, oh my God, like, okay, how do I say this? It's a lot of pressure definitely comes with it. Um, but there's also like a lot of time that you've had to like develop yourself and to basically like become the best version of yourself, like, or the best version of yourself as much as like you can possibly be, you know? So, um, yeah, you definitely have a lot of time to just like get to the point where you can just be the best at like what you're doing. And for me, I feel like I had like a little too much time, which kind of took like a downside to it because of like I dropped out of. If you didn't know, I dropped out of school at like the beginning of grade 11 just because of like how much progress I was making in my career, you know, as like
Yeah.
this young superstar and stuff. So that definitely felt like really really good, and I definitely felt like um I was like using the time in like a really good way. But yeah, I mean, sorry, wait,
No,
sorry, what was the question again?
no,
Yeah,
you're
I was
fine.
just like
Just
ranting on
no,
about something
no,
else.
you're fine. It's just taking in the moment. Like this truly is kind of like a special moment in LCS history, and just letting you take the time to, I don't know, just think about it a bit. Because I know, like you said, you've been kind of go 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 for the last week. Like obviously scrims and everything has been more important, but just like, I don't know, taking the time to appreciate like how big of an achievement this actually is. Like even before you step on the stage and play anything.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, it definitely feels awesome. Like it for sure feels a little surreal that I'm like, wow, this is my time to play LCS. Just because of how many years I've been prepping to get to this point. Um, but near like the end of it, kind of like when I turned 16ish, I definitely felt like a lot of pressure going into academy. Um, just because I was like this up and coming player, and that kind of like was getting to my head in like a way, and I started like underperforming like because of it, kind of. Um, and this, like I was saying, this comes with like a lot of time that I had to like just develop myself and stuff.
Yeah.
And in a way, like I had too much time
Yeah.
to like to do that, you know. So it just felt like I kind of just needed to be thrown in there and then just like see what happens from there, you know. And
Yeah.
then that happened, and then I was like going through like some stuff, or yeah, I was like going through some stuff like mentally and stuff during the time, and then I just took like a month break where I just wasn't playing like any solo queue or anything, and I was just you know trying to get back on track, just trying to become like the best version of myself again, and from then on everything's kind of been going like smoothly from like 2023 April to like now in a way. Although I've still experienced like a lot of ups and a lot of downs, it's I'm just trying to like it, appreciate how much effort I've like put in um into like just being here, you know,
Yeah.
just like being an LCS player right now.
Living in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also one of the only players that like I go home and I have to explain esports to my family during like Christmas break and Thanksgiving or anything like that. You go home and you get to shoot the shit with your brother. And like the conversations you two must be able to have is nice, but like has he given you any advice, any pointers? Like was there anything over the holiday break that he kind of imparted onto you knowing that like you were coming back and kicking this whole thing off?
Yeah, I mean, my brother always trusted in me, to be honest. Um, and like you said, like he was trying to just help me as much as possible before I obviously play LCS because he played in the LCS stage before, and like he knows how much pressure that really is, or like that really takes to just like to just build a lot of confidence and to get to that point where like you're playing really good on stage. So yeah, he was just like I guess just checking up on me and just like making sure I was in a not in a position but he just like always wanted me to play play my best, you know. But he's not gonna just like go up to me and like do everything for me, you know. Like I also have to take a part in that where I also want to get help from him and stuff, which a lot of the times wasn't really the case. So he kind of just waited until I was ready to get help from him, and then I could just ask him like whatever I needed, and he'd help me with it. If that makes sense.
No, it does. As an older brother, that entirely makes sense. That's the same philosophy that I have with my little sister. Obviously, nowhere near this scale, but
Yeah, no.
say you gotta let them figure it out on their own. Throw them to the wolves in the same way the first child's kind of thrown out there. We got to give you a little taste of our own medicine.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Is there one bit of advice that stands out to you most that he's ever given you, whether it's now or in the past?
Mm, not that I can think of at like the top of my head, but I mean, yeah, like I guess the advice that kind of stands out to me the most is he just he just like always wants me to have fun in like what I'm doing, and I in a way I like sort of got that mindset from him where like if I'm not enjoying like if I don't enjoy playing the game right now, then there's like no point in doing what I'm doing, you know, which is like scrims, champions, like all that kind of stuff. So he basically just told me to like just try and have as much fun as possible and to just like to just experience being an LCS player. You know, it's an amazing feeling, and like everybody would want to be at this point. Everybody would want to be an LCS player who plays League.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even the people that hate, like anybody that talks shit, they're at the end of the day, they're just sitting there typing on Twitter, thinking, "Damn, wish I could be in that same exact spot." It's nothing
Yeah.
but jealousy. That's amazing. I mean, I will say you are very good on camera. Like watching the 100 Thieves content, doing interviews in general, like you just have a natural presence. Has that always been the case? Is that something that you've kind of worked on? Because like you watch the obviously there was a whole video like on you specifically and like following your journey around Korea, but then like the trivia one as well, you're very much taking the lead. Do you like is being on camera just natural to you at this point, or like did you have to teach yourself how to be on it?
Not at all. I used to be like incredibly shy and like to the point where I like wouldn't say a word. And when I would like stutter, you know? It was like pretty embarrassing. Especially like during middle school, I guess. I was extremely shy during that time. And then I went to online school during high school, which like didn't help at all. Um and then like one day I kind of took it like upon myself, or like my friend was just like telling me all these things about just like improving myself and just to like become like a better person in general. Um, and from then on, like, yeah, I kind of just I was more mindful about myself, and I started taking care of myself better. Like going to the gym, for example. I think meditation is like also very important, and just like a bunch of these things that kind of kind of build you up to become like just a better person in general, you know? So, um, yeah, that kind of started when I was like 15 years old, where I started becoming more confident in like just everything I say. Um, and yeah, I just try to have as much fun as possible. Like that's kind of what my brain is going through when, you know, like I'm in front of a camera or just I'm just trying to be myself, you know? That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I mean, that's all you really can be. That's what ultimately made some of the biggest personalities in the space who they are today is just being themselves on camera. So do not stop doing that. Like just keep it up
Appreciate it.
and ignore everybody else that, might come along the way and say otherwise. Just keep doing yourself and, you know, who am I to be giving you any advice whatsoever? But just keep it up, man. You're doing great.
No, bro. I respect your like your takes and stuff, or like your advice at least. You know, I also respect like the content you do,
Oh, thank
um,
you.
with like 100 Thieves and stuff, and I appreciate all that. So I appreciate all that. So yeah, I mean you as well. You know, keep doing what you're doing.
Dude,
Like,
I'm just a fan that
doing
doesn't know how to shut my mouth. That's ultimately what it comes down to.
I can relate to that. Don't worry. Don't worry.
So going into this year, pretty big year for 100 Thieves. I think most fans are going to be in for a little bit of an adjustment period as they come off having the same roster for basically 2 years, barring a few changes, and then last year being the kind of blip in between. Uh, you got a whole new squad around you. You got you, Ayla, Big Meech, which, how tall is he, by the way?
I don't even know, bro. This guy's like 7 foot tall, by the way. Like,
That's absurd.
he's so tall. It's crazy.
Every time I see him on camera, it's like, okay, because you have to play that mental game of like, are they actually that tall or is it just like camera stuff? Because like one thing that you don't realize is when you see somebody on TV and you're like, oh, they look pretty tall, and then you stand next to them. I'm 6'4". I tend to be taller than most people. That when I go stand next to them, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. People on camera tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. So I wasn't sure how, like, is he actually that big, like fudge level tall? But
I mean, I've never met Fudge in person, to be honest. Um, I mean, I just know Meech is like, he's like pretty skinny and he's like hella tall. You know, that's like kind of all you need to know about his height. I feel like is the best way I could put it.
I know that build well. I didn't break 110 pounds until my freshman year of college. So been there, know that feeling.
Oh, me too.
The good
I
old
can relate to it.
beanstalk. So then, okay, so you have Meech, you have Ayla, mid lane you have Quid, notably returning from the roster last year, the one carryover, and then in jungle you have River. Has there, in the limited time you've had with the guys, is there anybody that stands out in your mind as like, wow, this dude's a stud? Like just in game, just does everything that we want him to do. Cannot wait to see him on the Rift on stage. Like anybody that stands out.
Anybody that stands out. I mean, so far in scrims, I think, uh,
You can
I think
answer
everybody's
yourself,
like,
by the way.
okay. Oh, okay.
If you want to, you can. I just want to make sure you knew. Like, you don't have to be selfless if you don't want to.
Okay. Okay, I got you. I definitely wouldn't say me right now, I think. But I don't know. I think all of us are really good on like our own things and stuff. And if we all like get set up to like, I guess be in a position where we can just like get a lead or like get like just a little bit of an advantage over our enemy laner or enemy jungle or whatever it is, then we'd look like really insane, right? But that's not always the case, and I feel like all of us kind of just not really lack, but consistency is kind of like what every single one of us like really needs in order to like get to that level, like be the number one team, be the number one top laner or whatever it is. But if I had to say who's the most consistent, it would probably be Quid. I think Quid's actually really consistent, and I think very highly of him. I didn't think like highly of him before. I joined the team and stuff. I just thought he was like, oh, like another one of these Korea imports. Or not Korea imports, sorry, but like another one of these like imports who are coming into the league and not really doing much, you know. But I was very surprised. His mindset's good, and he's been like the most consistent out of all of us.
He's now, I think, top 10 in the Champions Queue ladder currently, and has been popping off pretty heavily. Have you played much Champions Queue yourself?
I've been trying to be honest. I didn't really play it when I was in Toronto. Canada is like where I'm from because I had like really high ping. But ever since I got here, I've been trying to play like every day, yeah, just so I can just keep up with the meta and everything.
That's awesome. Is there a Toronto idol that you look up to?
I don't know any like celebrities, bro. Like that's a question you probably shouldn't ask me, but
okay, you got to know like the most famous person to come out of Toronto in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I know Justin Bieber, I know like Drake.
The fact
I know
that
like
Justin
all these.
Bieber was your first answer, bro. That you just made a hell of a lot of Drake stands. At the end of the day, Toronto has got so many good so many talented freaking people that come out of it. It's actually absurd.
Yeah.
Dang. I mean, that's pretty much the only questions I got other than like what's your expectations for week 1? You face Team Liquid and Cloud9. You go against Impact and Fudge in your debut games. Arguably, by most people's metrics, 2 of the top LCS pros to ever do it in top lane. Are you excited to take them on? A little bit nervous? Like, is it like I can't wait to climb the ladder type feeling?
Oh no, I'm a piss that guy down, bro. I don't care if he's like 29 years old, but like, bro, he's going down, man. I don't know. Impact's for sure like washed up, I think. I don't think he's been good for like a while. Um, ever since he left Easy, at least, I don't really think he's been playing to like the level. He's not really, I guess, like the level he's supposed to be playing at.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can kind of, I don't want to ego it too much.
But hey, you know where ego comes from? Confidence. And the number one thing you cannot do is lose the sense of confidence. If that comes from ego, then hey, whatever. Do what you got to do, but like keep your level of confidence the entire time.
Yeah,
But
100%.
if that means shit talking them, you shit talk them. And I promise you, you might make some enemies along the way, but hey, you're gonna make a hell of a lot of fans doing so. Ask Double If, see how his social media account's doing right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, that is a pretty valid point. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can kind of just like pick whatever into Impact and just be like up in CS, you know, or just be like winning against him in a way. Because like I don't really think he has any hands. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like the top matchup at least is going to be like pretty free from outside, but I don't necessarily know how all the other lanes are going to be played out. But I'm very confident in myself and my teammates to exceed expectations because like a lot of people are also sleeping on us in a way too, you know? Which is
Believe me, I know. I've been keeping track of all of them. Don't worry.
yeah. So I mean, you already know how it is, but yeah, I'm like obviously not gonna let that get to my head. I'm just gonna keep improving, keep having fun, and just like kind of see what happens from there. But yeah, I'm just like super confident with the way scrims are going, and with the way I feel about myself right now, at least, I I for sure have a lot to learn. But yeah, I mean, hey, Team Liquid, I know you guys are our first match of the freaking year, but you guys gotta watch out for me. I'm just gonna put that there. Okay, like that's drop the mic.
I freaking love it. Holy shit. Floor is yours, man. I've already kept you on here for long enough. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything that's on your mind before we head out?
No, I mean I'm loving it. Like the questions you're asking are like also they're not like LCS type of questions, you know, that they like ask you a question and then it's like the blandest thing ever. But no, I mean just shout out to you for having me on here, and shout out to my teammates. And yeah, that's kind of about it, to be honest. Just like look forward to us playing on stage. We'll try not to disappoint. We'll try our best. That's one thing I can guarantee you guys.
All right, I got a homework. Apologies for my dogs going off. I know you're not in school anymore, but you're still 17. I'm gonna give you homework. Next time I
Okay.
talk to you, you got to come back to me with the 3 best songs that have ever come out of a Canadian artist ever.
Oh, okay.
You don't got to answer now. It's
Okay.
for the next time we chat. You got to give me the top 3 songs.
Top 3 songs. Okay. I'll for sure get that to you. You don't need to worry.
It's a wide list. I don't want to hear any excuses about not having 3. I can think of 3 off the top of my head right now. But
Okay. But what are the 3 that you can think of right now? I'm gonna put you in the spot.
all right. Number 1, I'm going to go Marvin's Room by Drake. I think Take Care was his best album. I mean, granted, it hit whenever I was in high school. So, like, that there's a level of nostalgia, but also just the vibe that song gives off is unlike anything else I've ever heard of music. I would go with The Hills by The Weeknd.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm a massive Weeknd fan. I cannot wait for his new album that comes out this year. But the first time that The Hills hit, I pray to God everybody was wearing headphones or in a car when they were, because if you were in a car, I mean, I was in college in North Carolina at the time. The dude that I was living like 2 dorms down from, he had tricked out subwoofers in his car, and that song came on. I swear to God, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like it just went off, and I was like I panicked. I was like, "What is going on?" Like
Oh my
it was the
god.
deepest bass ever. It was amazing. The third, shit, this is what. It's a duo, but I gotta go right above it. Drake and Lil Wayne.
Drake and Lil Wayne. Which one? Oh, right above it. Is that what the song's called?
You've never heard it.
Let me. I'm just gonna search it up on Spotify. And
I
see if
guarantee you had to have at least heard the intro.
I'm listening to it right. I'm listening to it right now, real quick.
Go ahead.
I've never heard of the song before, to be honest.
Pause it. Don't listen to it now. Listen to it when you're done here. It is a phenomenal song that's just like like it's a game day song is what I would call it. I put it on and get hyped every time. No matter where I hear it, no matter when, the horns are just incredible.
Oh my god. That's so sick, actually. The songs hit hard.
They do. All right. I'll cut that off here. And thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it for coming out. And look forward to talking to you again as the split goes on.
100%, man. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.